the default patch is loaded, we designed the sound to be clean and just ready to go right out of the box. But for those that like to tweak, we've added a few knobs to the interface so that you can control several aspects of the piano. The only extra element I've added right now to this sound thus far is a convolution reverb that came with Contact. I'll disable that effect so you can hear the adjustments uncolored. The first knob here is the release volume. Its default value is 50, and we'll hear that most noticeably in the bass. Let me just demonstrate what we've got right now. It's most noticeable on the low notes, see, when you really smack them like that. Now if I turn up this release volume, we get more and more of that. Turn it up higher, it's now at 70. Turn it up way up and it's going to sound kind of ridiculous down here. But if you really wanted that exaggerated effect of, you know, some resonance, and if you want a tighter sound, you can turn this way down. And we'll just put it on maybe 15 or 16 here. That gives it a much tighter sound, and some people may prefer that. The setting is there. Hitting reset will set all of the values back to what you see right here with these default values. The next one I'd like to talk about is pedal noise and the thumps. Especially with this kind of piano that was recorded in a closed mic position, as you saw in the pictures, it picks up some of the action noise as well. And with the thumps volume here, it's a modest level right now. It's just what was recorded naturally. But now if I turn this up, you can hear the thumps, and they correspond to if I'm pressing the keys down and up. And the pedal noise is simply the sustain pedal raising the dampers up and down, and you can hear that sound. The default value isn't very loud, but to fully exaggerate this, I'm going to turn it all the way up to 100 just so you can hear what it sounds like. There, it's very distinct. So again, hit reset. And the other to talk about is the sensitivity. A lot of people might have different MIDI controller settings that are, require you to hit the keys harder for a given velocity value or anything like that. But some keyboards make it a little bit more difficult to adjust those values. In fact, you can't do it as a user. But what we have here with this knob, the sensitivity, this is like a default linear curve, just depending on how hard you hit the note, it responds very evenly. But if I turn that up, you'll notice that if I go up to about 95 here, the softer I play, it gets really soft. But if I play harder and harder, but what's nice is that we can turn this down and get almost like a compression effect. It's kind of squishing the dynamic range of the instrument, although all the different velocity levels are still playing. If I can go way down here to about 55. But the louder I play, it doesn't get much louder. And then if I just get quieter. And, you know, in theory, if you turn this all the way down to 0, there's no dynamic range. It's just all the same volume level. The last one to talk about here is the tone control. This is a nice little feature to have if you don't want to go mess around with equalizers and plugins and things like that. Of course, you know, you can tailor the sound however you want it in any shape, you know, or fashion. But just to have a simple knob, one knob to turn for tone control, it's kind of nice. Now if I start turning this tone up here, we'll start getting a brighter sound just instantly. If I go way up here to about 60 or 61, and it just gives you a good bright piano, which is maybe good for Bruce Hornsby. So, you know, it's just, if you just really need it to cut through. There's that pedal off release that you can hear there. It's so lovely. And if I start bringing this down, this will soften everything just in a nice way. It just takes the bite off. So having the tone control is a nice feature here. So I'm going to kind of dial in what I had earlier. I'm going to turn my releases up because I want a little bit more of that resonance. I'm going to turn the tone up just a tad. Turn the pedal noise down a little bit. And now I'm going to turn the thump volume up here just to give it a little bit of oomph. And I'm going to go back down here to the convolution reverb and turn on what I had because I was liking the way that sounded. And it can have a nice bold sound. But without messing with any knobs or even touching anything, it can still get so delicate. Of course, nowadays it's not uncommon to have user adjustable aspects of the sound for every instrument. But we got to remember each instrument is unique, and so making these adjustments to the sound can give you all kinds of different results just depending on the instrument. For more demos of this library and to add this library to your collection of instruments, visit acousticsamples.net.